Zimbabwe is set to print its own version of the United States dollar aimed at easing a cash shortage in the country. The European Central Bank plans to withdraw the 500 euro note due to concerns of criminal activities. Plus, the Abraj Group speaks on Unimed of Tunisia divesting on the Tunis Stock Exchange. Good afternoon and welcome to the program. This is Your Business Incorporated. I am Bosin Amafaye. We're live to you from China's global headquarters in Lagos, Nigeria. Let's get started from the ECB, where the central bank says it will no longer produce a 500 euro note because of concerns the currency could facilitate illegal activities. The decision comes in the wake of a European Commission of Inquiry in February into the way the 500 euro notes are being used. Senior ECB officials says at the time that they needed more evidence that the notes facilitated criminal activity. The UK asked banks to stop handling 500 euro notes in 2010 after a report found that they were mainly used by criminals. The European Central Bank says the 500 euro banknotes remains legal tender and will always retain its value. The bank says it will stop issuing the notes around the end of 2018 when it will bring in new 100 and 200 euro banknotes. In the discussion around who gets the London Stock Exchange still out there on the street, the owners of the New York Stock Exchange, Intercontinental Exchange, or the ICE, says it will not make a takeover offer for the London Stock Exchange. The ICE announced back on the 1st of March that it was considering a bid for the LSE, but said that it's been unable to confirm the potential market and shareholder benefits of the deal. LSE agreed a merger with the Deutsche Börse on March the 16th, creating one of the world's biggest exchange operators. Looking at the markets for the fourth trading session for the week, shares in China traded flat amid worries about global growth prospects continued to worry investors. Growth in Chinese business activity softened slightly in April, according to a private survey, raising further questions over the economy's strength. China's Shanghai Composite Index was up slightly at 2,995 in afternoon trade today. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng Index was down 24.35 points. Trading has remained subdued, with markets in Japan shut for 3 days of national holidays. The Japanese market will reopen tomorrow, Friday. Markets in South Korea have shut for a long weekend from Thursday, and trading will resume there on Monday. In Australia, bank shares outpaced the broader market. The benchmark S&P ASX 200 shares index higher slightly, just 0.1%. And it's been a bit of a lukewarm the European markets today. Quite a lot to talk about. Let's go over to the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, where Conrad Bilson is standing by, DWTV financial correspondent for Channels Television, to take us through some of the top stories there today. Let's start with the currency, the euro and the 500 euro bill. I wish I have one here, Conrad, to show you, but is the ECB heckled between the citizens who feel the right to have this denomination and the criminals that the ECB is trying to prevent from using that particular note to prevent them from using it for criminal activities?
Well, yes. This stopping of printing the $500 bill by the European Central Bank. Some people here say that it wants to push not only, as you said, to prevent criminal activity and criminals using large amounts of cash, but also the ECB has said that it wants to push wealthy people that have a lot of cash or that have a lot of money in their bank accounts to rather spend this money instead of holding it in their bank account. Remember, the European Central Bank is charging negative interest rates to banks that hold money at their accounts they themselves hold at the central bank. And until now, the banks have not tried to pass on those negative interest rates onto their customers, onto their private banking customers, wealth management customers, rich people with a lot of money in their accounts. But some say some banks are inclined to do this soon. They might try to pass on the costs onto their customers, and consequently some of those customers might be inclined to withdraw their money money in cash. And of course, you best do the bill. Now, that is the rumor. That is a bit of a joke that I think many people here are talking about. It has to do with the idea that the ECB, the central bank here, just wants to take the money from the people and wants it to be spent in the economy. But it's something that I have to say people are talking about.
Yes. So does that conversation flow into the stock index, the DAX index over across your shoulder there? A bit of a bumpy there today, up and down, crazy way of the index looking, the DAX at the moment. Does that look like the entire European trading day for us? I guess we lost.
Well, yes, it's a bumpy in terms of stock prices. We're about to get fresh economic data from the United States, an update from the labor market there, first time applications for unemployment benefits. And, well, we've been getting a couple of economic data recently which hasn't shown that the economy in the US is recovering or has continued to recover very strongly. So ahead of this fresh data, most investors prefer to rather stay on the sideline and decide not on either direction. From the United Kingdom, again, we've been getting an indicator today that the Brexit discussion seems to have halted the economy there. The Purchasing Managers' Index from the British services sector has fallen to 52.3 points. That's stronger than what economists had forecast, and it's the lowest level.
Hello, Conrad?
On this side, another fact with.
Okay, Conrad, yes. Let's wrap it quickly. Things a little bit not so smooth with the connection there. But let's talk about Tesla very quickly for about 1 minute. Is Tesla being haunted by the entire auto industry crisis of recalls and the diesel emission scandal, what have you?
Well, you mentioned, you mean Tesla is the big haunt for the car makers, the traditional ones, and Tesla, the electric car maker, has come out with its earnings. It's reported a loss, but investors are ignoring it because Tesla delivers a huge growth story. It expects to deliver 80 to 19,000 cars this year, and from 2018 on, Tesla plans to sell 500,000 cars a year. Now that would mean a growth of productivity not seen in the car industry since Henry Ford sold the Model T in America at the beginning of the last century, and that's why it's a very exciting story for investors. The shares of Tesla are heavily on the upside today here in European trading.
Conrad, that's an interesting story, I hope. And I thought that success has many friends, failures is an often bad looks at a different story. Okay, jealous over your neighbor. Do have a great day. See you tomorrow, Friday, and wrap up the week for us tomorrow then. It's been a great, interesting time with you. Conrad Bilson, DWTV financial correspondent from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Now, our Price Group is is the leading investor in private equity markets with its footholds across Africa. Let's talk about what they're currently doing in Tunisia with the Unimed shares, the IPO now on the Tunis Stock Exchange. We're talking about $150 million in healthcare investing.